Welcome to the Mystery Mouse Podcast. My name is Holly, and I'm coming to you from Colorado, where I live with my husband and our 5 kids and our very, very many pets. And today is Tuesday, August 1st. I'm so happy to be done with July. July is that hump month of summer for me, so I'm really glad to be done with that and on the downhill slope and on the way toward fall. I know it's going to be hot for a while, but that's okay. I think we're going to start school next week, and that'll be exciting. And in a way, it's kind of difficult to be thinking about getting back into the routine, but at the same time, I really need a routine, and I think my kids are happier when they have a routine too. Sometimes this summer, I don't know, I think they get bored, and they just, you know how kids are. They want to be on screens all the time, and I don't want them to be on screens very much at all, and then there's a lot of clash, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting back into the routine of having stuff to get done and then enjoying ourselves and all of that. So but let's get right into knitting. I've got knitting today. I've got some crochet. I've got some book talk. I've got some Cal talk or Mal, I don't know, make along stuff. I have a couple questions for you for the comments. So let's get right into it. So first of all, FOs. My one FO for this time is my 1898 hat that I made for Shark Week, which was a couple weeks ago, and I did finish this in time. This is knit in DK weight yarn, my Feeding Frenzy colorway. And I really think it turned out really great. The pattern is written for worsted weight, and I knit it in DK. Watson is at my feet getting into stuff. Watson, no, stop that. It's written for worsted weight, and I knit it in DK, and I was hoping it would turn out just a little bit small because I wanted it to be for Grady for the winter, and it fits him really well. I mean, it'll stretch. I can get it on my head if I wanted to, but it definitely fits him really well. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. I love the construction of this hat because it's a double brim of garter stitch with this nice slip stitch band in the middle. It's perfect for cupping around the ears. See how it kind of cups in? There's like my hairs all over this. And so it's really nice for cold, windy days. So that is my FO. I'm glad that I have an FO because I'm starting to feel like I'd never finish anything. And I think I am one of those people, I think, that knits and then finishes everything all at once. Somehow, I don't know how that works out. It's the same with like my makeup. Like, I hardly ever buy makeup, but when I do, it's like all at the same time. Or, I don't know. Anyway. So that is my finished object. Now I have whips. I feel like I haven't worked on a lot since my last podcast, but I think there are reasons for that. Well, I've been really busy, but I did work on a couple of sock projects. So first of all, this is my red wall socks that I'm making. And here's where I was, I think, last time. And as you can see, I'm almost done with the toe. I think I probably have a couple more rounds to do before I'm done with the toe. And I decided just to do the toe in the main color because I didn't want to change yarns. The reason I was working on this is because I needed a travel project, and this was in a good place. But I didn't want to make it too long because sometimes I'm mad at myself when I made my first sock super long, and then that's how long I have to knit the second sock. So I'm really trying not to do that. And I always do Afterthought heels. This Progress Keeper is from EB & Co. US on Etsy. My friend Elizabeth, and I don't think she has any of these in her shop, but I'm sure if you would message her that you liked these, she would make you some. It's like a ball of yarn with needles sticking in it. I love it. So I have, of course, a lot of yarn left, and I have to knit the second sock, and I am not good at knitting second socks. I met somebody for coffee yesterday, and hi Karen, and she said that, as I was talking about second sock syndrome, and she said that she heard somewhere that knitters like the knitting to them is like a puzzle. And so once they do one, they've solved the puzzle and they don't want to do the second one. And that makes a lot of sense. So anyway, I'm going to try to do it. I do wear my socks a lot, so I need them. My second, oh, and this is in a bag by Susan of Delightful Works, my chicken bag. This is in a bag by Toad Hollow. And this is my other sock. And I was working on this when I went out for coffee yesterday. And it's always a mess. But this is also at the toe, and I think I might even be at my last row. I'll have to count before the toe. I have started, when I'm at the last row, you know how you do a decrease round and then you do a plain round. So when I get to the last one, I don't do a plain round. I've started just doing the Kitchener right after I do that last decrease round, because I think it helps the toe not to have that little bump at the top. It goes in curvy nicer. So this is yarn by Cannon Hand Dyes. I think it's called the Bull and Blossom, and it was a sock set. And this whole sock is knit in the main color, and my contrast color is this really pretty pale fawn, tan gray brown. I don't know what you'd call it. It's really pretty. And I'm just going to do the heel in this. And this is sparkly yarn. You can never tell sparkly yarn on the screen, but it's like a gold stellina. So that is that, and I need to do the Kitchener on both of those toes. I thought about doing it last night, but I thought then that's all I'm going to do, and it was kind of sad. So I decided not to do that. Another thing I've been working on is Toby's night sweater, which is in this bag that my friend made for me. And I have been working on his sleeve. I just wanted to show you it's getting bigger. Last time I think it was here, so it was only, I don't know, 5 inches or something. And I have probably almost doubled it. And I started doing the decreases, so that was really encouraging to me because they're getting a little smaller. So this is finally coming along. I really want to have this done by the fall because I know that he wants to wear it. So he says, we shall see. But that is Toby's night sweater, and that's just a pattern I'm making up myself. And it's in a variety of yarn. It's in Cascade 220, and also I think Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and the 2 grays. I had a lot of Cascade 220 gray, maybe not a lot, maybe a couple skeins, and then I bought Knit Picks Wool of the Andes because I just wasn't sure about getting the same thing, and they don't really match, but I think they're close enough so that it'll be fine. He won't care. There is a book in here. I wonder what that is. The thing that I worked on the most is this in this bag by Susan of Delightful Works. It is my Brown Bear crochet blanket that I'm making for Grady. I'm making this out of my Brown Bear mini skein set, which is 9 colors. Brown bear, red bird, yellow duck, blue horse, green frog, purple cat, white dog, black sheep, and goldfish. So I did not do the teacher. Or indeed the children, who, I don't know, they would have been harder. So I wanted to get this thing put together so bad. I felt like I was so close to getting it to the place where I could put it together, and it was just driving me bananas. So I really focused on this week, or this last couple weeks. So what I did was I made 9 squares like this that were all the colors, and I made 28 squares that were like this, that were all the colors except for black or white, and then I edged them in black and white. So like I did 4 browns, 2 with a white border and 2 with a black border. Then I laid them out, so like the big squares were like a 9 patch and the little squares were like a tic-tac-toe board. And I edged them all in red, and this is how it looks. And now I've started going around, and I decided to start with orange, because orange was the border color on my center square. So it was the only color that was not anywhere on the edge of the blanket. So I just started with orange. I did one round of granny stitch. Then I decided to go back through in order again. So I started with brown, and then I needed to do red. But since I edged everything in red, I hardly had any red yarn left. So I just did a little single crochet around the edge in red, and I did run out. So I finished 2.5 sides, and then I had this much, and then one side left. So I think what I'm gonna do is, because I don't want to cannibalize another red from yet another mini skein set. This is 2 sets. So I think I'm going to look for a leftover, or you know, something that just looks kind of similar, and just jerry rig it that way. I'm not worried about it being perfect. I have a lot of red ends to weave in on this side, and all my ends to weave in this side. I am not good at that whole crochet over your ends thing. I wish I was. I need to work on it. Well, so next I will do yellow, and then blue, green, purple, and we'll see if I have enough yarn for all this, and then white and black. I think what I'll end up doing is, if the rounds get too big and I'm running out, you know, really early, I'll do like, you know, 2 sides in one color, and then the next on the other 2 sides. I just want to use up as much yarn as possible and make it a little bit bigger. But this will be perfect for Grady, just for a little snuggly, watching TV blankie, or reading a book, or whatever. And I've shown him, you know, I like say, look, this is your brown bear blanket, and I show him like, brown bear, what do you see? And then I point at the red and say, I see a red bird looking at me. And it's like he gets it. He wants, you know, he wants to do it, and he likes to find the colors and stuff. So I think it's cute. It's kind of a crazy blanket, but I've really enjoyed making it. You know, there's just something about when you're a knitter and you also crochet. Crochet is such a nice break. It's so different, and it's really nice being so modular, I think. This is my yellow. It's all over the place. So this is my kind of late night project right now for when I am tired. Oh, I also worked on Teddy's vest, his blue vest, but I mean, it looks the same, it's just taller, but I did work on it quite a bit, so it's grown by several inches, but it's just, you know, stuck in it. So you guys imagine what it looks like. Okay. Oh, and then the last thing I worked on, I guess I should check my notes. I write these things down. Last thing I worked on is my Good Bear kit from Barrett Wool Co. This is a pattern by Susan B. Anderson, and I just started it. And I made the little hat for the bear. So here it is. It's so cute. It would be done, but I have to get a tapestry needle and pull through the stitches. I will say about this yarn, I really like this yarn. It's very special yarn, I think. And I love the colors, but you do have to be careful because you can pull it apart pretty easy. So there's been a few times where I have just wanted to like tighten up my stitches, and I have broken the yarn. So be careful about that. I have had to remind myself. So, and I have a lot of yarn left. I mean, I think that's the only green thing, and look how much yarn I have left. I have enough probably to make 2 or 3 more little hats. So I'm going to hold on to this because the bear has like pants and a pullover and a coat and his hat, and of course his bear body. But if I have a lot left from some of the other colors, I might make him a stripy version of his pullover or a hat or something. So that's cool. And I'm really enjoying making that. So that kind of leads me into, I said last time that I would show some of the other stuffies that I've made, especially from Susan B. Anderson. So I do have some. So my second son, Toby, collects owls, and he has collected owls since he was a little boy. One Christmas, I said to him, Toby, is there anything you don't want for Christmas? Because he is a stuffed person. He wants everything. He wants to collect everything. He wants to own everything. He never wants to get rid of it. And he was like, I don't think I want an owl. I don't want an owl for Christmas. And I said, okay. And then the next day he was like, Mom, I want an owl for Christmas. Remember how I said I don't want an owl? I do. I want an owl for Christmas. And I was like, oh. So his Grammy, his dad's mom, bought him an owl, Stuffy. And so that was the beginning. And so now he collects owls. It's the thing. And so I saw this pattern by Susan B. Anderson. This is called Egg to Owl, I think. I will put it on the screen. But you knit this little pouch, and then you pop the little owl out. Ta-da! And he is so cute. So I made this as like a baby, a little baby brother for all of his stuffy owls. His face is a little squishy. And he has survived. This is probably like 5 or 6 years old. It's so cute. So anyway, this is Susan B. Anderson's pattern. Also, now I kept this one for myself because I thought it was so cute. This is a little owl. I think it might just be called Little Owl, or I don't remember. I knit this a long time ago. So, and he is just a little tiny owl, and I knit him in fingering weight. These are sock scraps, I think I knit this in. And I just changed the color here to like a self-patterning yarn so that he would look like he was wearing a sweater. And I used really giant safety eyes, which I don't think I was supposed to, but I thought he was an owl. He needed big eyes. So this is my little owl, and I put beans in his bottom so he sits really nice. He's so tiny, so cute. And then, but this is my favorite, and I've knit this a couple times. I couldn't find the other one, which I also gave to Toby, but this one's mine. This is her little dragon, and he is so cute. Look at him when he hides he can hide his nose. His hands are sewn together. And he's supposed to be all one color, but I made him have purple wings because I think that's classic storybook coloring. And also he reminds me of Eustace in Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And that is my favorite Narnia. So this is my little Eustace. And I love the Eustace part of that story. So anyway, I really love him. I think I'm gonna knit him again. And this was in her little dragon pattern, and she had a mini version in that pattern. Like she had just updated it. This is also several years ago. And so I knit the mini version. So of course, and he's knit with fingering weight, I think. So I'd kind of like to knit a big one, like in worsted or bulky, and not do the mini version and see how big he turns out, because I just love him. He's so cute. So those are all Susan B. Anderson stuffy patterns. I did bring a couple more to show you. When I asked Toby to find his little dragon and he couldn't find it. So, but he did give me that owl. And he gave me this, and this is from a crochet. This is a crocheted monster, and he is from, I think, is it Edward's Imaginarium, or no? It's the same person who did Edward's Imaginarium. I don't remember what it's called. I have the book, and I will put the name over here and who it's by. But it's really cool because it's a flip book, and so you pick the head and you pick the arms and you pick the feet all separately. So I got that, and I had Toby pick what he wanted. So he picked these spiky hands, and as you can see, I ran out of orange on this thumb, and then he picked this spiky head, but these like ball feet. So he's very cute, and Toby really likes him. I have probably knit more stuffies for Toby than anybody because of his stuffed person status. Then the last one I brought to show you is this, and I have several versions of this. This is the Mini Kitty Poof by Knit Picks, and it's very simple. I mean, you just kind of start with a few stitches at the bottom, and you increase and make like a tube, you make like little ears and then you stuff it. Well, I added a tail, dun, 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 because it's just weird to have a cat without a tail. So what I did was, I think instead of knitting this in the round, I think I knit it flat, or at least I knit it flat up for like a couple inches, and then I picked up stitches, or I knit a tail, I don't remember, it's been a while. I knit a tail and then I sewed it into the little vent that I had made, and then I closed it up so that he could have a little tail. And this is his little buddy here. And this one I sewed to the side. This one's just sticking out the back. This one I sewed to the side. This one looks very much like the pattern picture because they had a stripy version. And I knit this in this weird, I don't remember what kind of yarn it was, but it was a weird blend of like cotton and wool and a bunch of other stuff that I bought because I made Teddy a wolf hat. That's a very realistic looking wolf hat. And I had this left over and it was kind of furry, so I used this. So these are my mini kitty poofs, and they're a little bit different size. And I love how this one's whiskers are so weird. They're a little crazy. This one looks pretty good. He's pretty handsome. This one looks a little deranged, but they're good buddies, and they sit in my bookcase up in my room. And they have a little friend. All right, where'd she go? They have this little friend who's not finished, and she's been in this state for a long time. So see, as you can see, we have evidence here of how I did this. I have the little vent in the back and her sadness. But then when I was fluffing my stash for the Texas Peach Knits Fluff Your Stash Mal, I did come across this, also covered with my hair. This was hand spun that I did a long time ago, and I made a sweater out of it. So I know that that's what this stripe is out of. And I think this part is the same yarn as this. It's like knitted at tighter gauge though, because I just wanted to make a small like kitten version. So I can make her a tail out of this. So that is the plan. So since I'm showing you, I'm gonna actually do it because I'd probably finish this in like 30 minutes. I would just do it. And then she needs a little nose and some whiskers because she looks perpetually like frightened right now. Like, so I'm going to finish her, and that will be good because she's been sitting around my shelf looking like this for a long time. So those are my mini kitty poofs. I now have some frog or finish or frog things to show you. I was looking around when I was fluffing my stash. I came across these projects and I knew they were there, lurking, but I thought I'd show you and either motivate myself to keep working on them or to let it go. So first of all, I have this beautiful lace. Okay, I'm gonna mess this up if I'm not careful. I have this beautiful lace short sleeve top that I'm working on. Now this looks teeny tiny, and I was making this for me, but it's lace, so I think, I don't know, I would block this within an inch of its life and see how big it turned out. This is a nice thing that I have two daughters. Mary is a little bit smaller than me, and Ivy is a lot smaller than me, so I know it would fit someone. And of course, the issue with this is fingering weight yarn. This is made out of Yarn Bee, their hand-dyed yarn, which I still don't know. Are they discontinuing this at Hobby Lobby? Did it become too expensive? It's in the Hazel Basil colorway, which I really like. It's like a tonal green and it's got little flecks of red in it. I don't think I want to frog this yet. This was so much work, all of this lace. It's just going very slow. And this is a Debbie Bliss pattern. I don't remember what it's called. I mean, it's probably called Lace Top. You know how these things are. I don't think she names her patterns. But it's from a Debbie Bliss magazine. I can put the picture up here. I think the front and the back are just the same. It's just two lace, like T, you know, shapes, and then you sew them together. So the thing that really kills me about this one is if I finish this thing, which is going to take forever, then I have to do a whole nother one. Now, I want that thing, right? I want the all over lace shirt. I think I would wear it all the time if it fit me. And it would be great for church. You know, it would be great for the summer. It would be great to layer. But am I going to be able to knit this much lace and it not taking 20 years? I don't know. So I think I would at least like to finish this front panel and block it. Maybe I should do that. I suppose if I absolutely could not bring myself to knit another lace thing, I could knit it plain in the back and have a lace front and a plain back or something like that. So I'm thinking about that, but I don't think I can frog it. And I have, let's see, I have this one I haven't started yet. And then I have, I don't know if this is one or two. I had at least 3 of these. I might have had 4, which is plenty. And I will probably have leftovers. So that's the Debbie Bliss knit. I'm kind of afraid what I'm going to say to myself is I don't want to frog any of these things because that is how I am. Okay, second frog or finish project is in this box. One of those papery boxes you get at craft stores. And I was all for frogging this until I took a good look at it because this was a sweater I started a long time ago out of hand spun, precious hand spun yarn. This is hand spun I did, I don't know, a long time ago. When I first started spinning, this was like my first serious, okay, you've got a spinning wheel, you spend your time doing something worthwhile, young lady kind of projects. And I did a 3-ply out of this, I don't even know what it is. It's wool, and it's kind of a black and red. I think I got it from the Woolery, and my mother-in-law got me a bunch of them, so I still have this left. I could spin more if I needed to. And I have no idea how much I have because I just don't know how to calculate those things. I've got all these balls because I already frogged something. Because I started this sweater from Knit Picks. I will put a picture in right here. And it was too hard. Like, it's got these amazing front cables and they were just too complicated. I could not keep them in my head. So I was spending like, you know, 20 minutes knitting this much of my sweater 2 times. You know, it was, I don't know, I just couldn't do it. I don't know if it was like it was too early in my knitting life or whatever. So I said to myself, this is too hard. You need to do something else with this precious yarn. You can't just, you're gonna kill yourself. So I ripped it back and I started knitting just the sweater part without the front panels, thinking I'll knit the front panels all by themselves and that's all I will work on and then it will be easier. So I have this much of cardigan knit. Here, this is the right side. So it's just a big piece. So it, you know, and I tried it on and it wraps around me. It doesn't go all the way around because it's missing the front panels. But the thing that really kills me, because if it was just that, I would probably frog it. Look at this. I have knit 2 sleeves. They're not complete, but they're up to, let's say, where they would join on like a drop shoulder or even a raglan. They're up to the armpit area. And I looked at that and I said, I just don't know if I can frog these. I hate knitting sleeves. Look at this. It's like a gift I gave to myself 10 years ago. I don't know what to do. So the thing is, I would have to keep knitting the back, going up till I get to the armholes and I can connect them all and do some raglan stuff. But I just don't think I can frog these sleeves. I don't think I can do it. So yet another thing. The thing is, I don't know if I would end up doing those cables just the way they were because they were very complicated. I mean, they were beautiful, but I don't know if I have that in me right now. So I need to see how big it is. And how big of a panel, like could I just do a really wide button band? Would that be enough? Could I do this kind of as like a more cropped fitted sweater that would not need so much ease, you know? Notice that these two things are in my favorite red and green. My third frog or finish project is this. Here's my start. It's really hard. Okay. And this is stockinette, but you're supposed to show the wrong side. So this was another cardigan. It's like a boucle, I think it's boucle yarn. And this was a pattern in Vogue Knitting, which I really, really like. I still want the product and I still love this yarn, but this is not a wool yarn. I bought this at the Interweave Yarn Fest. I think maybe the second time I went. This has been quite a few years ago. So this is called artisanal, how's that, how you say that? Artisanal Yarns. And it says they're on Facebook, but it's mohair, wool, nylon, and acrylic. And this was made in 2018, so this must be from 2018. And it's really beautiful. It's hand dyed. And I have several skeins of this boucle. It's really pretty. And I wanted to get a matching yarn, so I got this for the ribbing because that's how the pattern goes. This is from Sun Valley Fibers. I think it's their green tea colorway. So, and this is a worsted. And I didn't look at the pattern before I went because I'm an idiot. And you were not supposed to have a worsted for the ribbing. You were supposed to have a sport weight. But this was supposed to be worsted, so that's what messed me up. But anyway, so when I came to knit it, because I was all excited about it, I was like, okay, well, I will figure out my gauge and kind of knit the same size for the ribbing, which I did, and it worked okay. And then, see, I think in the original pattern, you're supposed to add on a bunch of, no, you're supposed to decrease a bunch of stitches or something, and to make the worsted part. So maybe I started out with that number. Well, anyway, the ribbing is fine, but this boucle yarn just got really, really wide. I mean, this is supposed to be the back, and it is very big. So I should really check my gauge. It's very hard to see the gauge because it's all fuzzy and full of these little curly things, which are so cute. But I think I'm gonna have to frog this, even though I want this thing. I think I'm gonna have to start again and just knit fewer stitches because it's just way too big. And it's supposed to be like this cute little, like, you know, like little fitted office-y kind of sweater, like 1960s. That's how it is to me anyway. So I don't want it to be a big slouchy. I don't want to look like a green sheep. I want to look like the cute little 60s secretary lady. So I'm going to start this again. So hey, I'm gonna frog it. I'm going to frog this, even though I want the same thing. But I just think it's so cute. I have put this aside for so long because I got really discouraged about that gauge issue. Gauge always gets us in the end, doesn't it? My last frog or finish project is the City Limits by Tanis Lavalley. She put this pattern out for free during the pandemic. I think it was in 2020 sometime. It's no longer free. And I started this. Okay, hold on. Try not to frog it before it's time. So this is how much I've got done. It's just kind of the neckline because it's top down. I think it's a top down raglan. And you're supposed to knit it in fingering weight yarn held double, and you fade it as you go down. So I had these 5 precious yarns that I decided to use for this. So this is, oh, what is it? Is it cat sandwich or something? Or it's, I don't know. No, it's not cat sandwich. I don't remember what this is. I'm sorry, but it's called Grumpy Cat is the color. It's really pretty. And then I have 2 yarns that I got at a yarn shop that are from Toad Hollow. This is called Ram Das from A Little Princess. And this is Mouse Dancer or something like that. And this was a yarn I bought it Tuesday morning, and it's just I think it's a commercial yarn, but it's got a hand-dyed look. And I don't remember what it was, to be honest. And then this is, these are all old yarns. But this is a hand-dyed yarn, which I knit a lace sweater out of a long time ago, and I had this left. So anyway, that was my fade. Let me try to show it. No. So yeah, like this. And starting with this. Okay, I'm never gonna be able to. Anyway, and I was really excited about it. And you know why I stopped knitting this is because my yarn management was horrible. Here I have a swatch. I swatched. Here's what it looked like. My swatch. I thought the fade was really nice. It wasn't there were no like jarring lines, you know. So, but my yarn management was just a pain because I was pulling from the inside and the outside of this Grumpy Cat, and it just was a mess. And it got to be like, it was too hard to work on it. I should have just cut it and knitted and rolled it into 2 balls. Well, then I updated my iPad where I had the pattern, and the pattern disappeared. At least I thought. Then the other day, I'm looking around in my patterns, and there it was, and I was like, what? Because I thought, oh, it's gone forever. I can't knit that anymore. Well, so now I need to decide, do I need to figure out where I was, cut my yarn, untangle it and fix it, and go on knitting it because I still have the needles in it and everything, or do I need to give up and let it go? The thing is, I've balled all this yarn up, right? It's ready to go. I really liked my swatch, so I don't think I'm gonna frog it. So the only thing I'm gonna frog is this, even though I still want to knit that thing. But maybe this will motivate me to work on these things a little bit more. I hope so, because I would like to finish things. I do finish things, just not right now, evidently. My only acquisition this week is from Random Fandom Bags. I bought a tiny little progress keeper from her. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. This is Gooseberry from Strawberry Shortcake. This is the little pet buddy of Cherry Cuddler. I mean, oh, she is so cute. And she's so tiny. I'm trying to show, I don't know, I hope you can see. She has little polka dots on her wings and her tail, and she has this tiny little lace detail around her bonnet. She is so cute. So that's from Random Fandom. And so I think she's doing some Strawberry Shortcake characters. She also has some Christmas stuff out, and she does bags too, which I have my one I Love Lucy bag is from her. So I wanted to get this because, first of all, it's a goose and it's adorable, and also because I am hoping to take part in a couple of make-alongs where this would be very appropriate, including the I Love the 80s Cal, which is being put on by Jackie at Crochet HD. You should check out her channel. It is so great. She does a lot of crochet, and she is doing an I Love the 80s cow. And so I am going to do some strawberry shortcake knitting with my little thing. And I'm also going to do a vintage pattern. Oh, I didn't even have to get up. Okay. I'm also, for that knit along, it's actually a crochet along, but I think she lets knitting too. I'm going to make one of these beautiful vests from 1987. I think what I'm going to do is knit the pink vest, although I don't know if I'm going to do all of the different stitch patterns. I might just do a couple. I really, really like how the top is. I like how the sleeves hug the shoulders really nicely, and in that moss stitch. So I don't know, I might do the whole sweater in moss stitch. I'm still thinking about it, but I think I'm gonna do this. And I'm going to use this Cascade 220 that I have. This, let me see what the color is. It probably just has a number on it. This is Cascade 220 Heathers in the color 9642. And I bought this at a yarn shop a long time ago, and I was going to make a Wolf River pullover with it. And it was really hard for me. I was looking for yarn that I could use. And I either only had like a couple, you know, skeins or balls or whatever, or I had like a whole sweater's quantity, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. And when I buy yarn, I don't always have a plan for it, but if I have a sweater's quantity, I usually know what I want to do. And I just said, you know, Holly, you just gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. You have a pattern you want to make. This would be great. So this is what I'm gonna do. So I think I have 6 skeins of this, which is probably too much. But it says you need over 1,000 yards. So it's gonna be at least 5. We'll see. They might be padding their numbers. But this is what I'm making for the I Love the 80s cow with Jackie. And then I'm going to also knit something strawberry shortcake inspired. I might just use some of my strawberry shortcake yarn. I have 2 mini skein sets. I have the strawberry shortcake mini skein set and the strawberry shortcake's friends mini skein set. So I think I'm going to use one of those. I'm either going to make a hat or mitts or something like that, and use my little stitch marker on those. So those are kind of my future plans for my knitting. Plus, I'm going to finish stuff. Don't worry. I promise I will finish things. I will probably have a finish palooza with fireworks and everything, because I will have actually finished several things. So I have a little bit of book talk. I have, let's see, one knitting book kind of review. I have a couple of kids' books I just want to show you, and I have a book that my friend wrote that I wanted to talk about. So first of all, the knitting book review. This is Viking Knits. I just got this at the library, but I showed it to my husband. There's 2 sweaters in here that he really likes. And the thing I love about this book, I mean, first of all, it's beautiful. The photography is beautiful, and it's a very nice book. But they have lots and lots of men's sweaters, which I'm always on the lookout for good men's sweaters, because I have, you know, my husband and I have these 2 older boys that are like men's size. And so they have beautiful men's sweaters, but very often they have an accompanying pattern for a women's sweater and a kid's sweater. So theoretically, you could knit sweaters to match for everybody in your family. Let me just show you. So like here is the first sweater. This guy who's modeling is the designer. I don't think he's the knitter, because I never say anything about him being a knitter. I think he just designed all these sweaters. Oh, goodness. My husband liked this one. My husband liked this power sweater. It's just kind of a really nice basic sweater. And see, they have this beautiful yoke sweater, women's yoke sweater. I don't know how to say any of these names. They're all very Norse and Vikingish. But there's so many good ones. So like they have this spark jacket for men. This is very European looking. And then they have a pullover version for women. And then they have a child's version. So it's just really nice that there's so many, I mean, that in itself, just the fact that they do that several times, I think kind of makes it worth the price of the book. There's this beautiful long Queen Coatigan. This is a beautiful, I mean, it's a lot of knitting right there, but that could be your coat. And look at it has beautiful sleeves. Oh, my husband really liked this one, the Viking. It's like a plain sweater with cabled sleeves. That's really nice. He also really likes this one, the 3-sword sweater. And he was like, ooh, it even has a cool name. So this is the one I think I want to knit for him first, if I do one of these, because it's just a nice plain body and a little color work at the top, 2 colors. So that would be interesting to do. So anyway, there's a ton of patterns in here. There's a ton of patterns in here, and they're all pretty good. I mean, there's none that are like, they really, you know, they just phoned that one in. No, they're all good. So I'm probably going to buy this book eventually. It's by Lasse, I don't know how you say his name, L. Matberg. And then I got these last time I went to the used bookstore, and I forgot to talk about them last time. These are Mrs. Piggy Wiggle's Farm, and hello, Mrs. Piggy Wiggle. And the reason I got these, I mean, I've heard of Mrs. Piggy Wiggle before, but I just thought this was really interesting because they're illustrated by 2 different people. And I've heard of both of these illustrators. This one's Maurice Sednick, and I think it's an earlier one. And then this one is illustrated by Hilary Knight, who I have heard of because, well, he's the illustrator behind Eloise, if you know the Eloise series. That's, I think, what he is most famous for. I also have a Cinderella picture book by him that I love. I think I loved it to pieces, and I need to get another one. I'll put a picture of it up here. I really like his illustrations. They are full of movement and personality. And Maurice Sednick is quite famous also in his own right, but I just thought I would mention that. Hilary Knight is probably one of my favorite illustrators. I just think he's really funny. You can kind of see the Eloise style in here. I don't know. I hope it focuses. So I really just got these for the illustrations, but I know that my kids will probably enjoy reading them. I'm kind of hoping that Mary will enjoy reading them. When she was 6 years old, for our church's fall festival, which we do on Halloween every year, we did book characters as the theme one year, and she went as Eloise. And she was so cute. She looked just like her. It was so funny. So I'm kind of hoping she'll want to read these, because that looks like it's about her speed. Okay, now my friend has written a book, and I am going to do a yarn inspired by this book, so I wanted to show it to you. It's called Did You Ever Wonder by Rebecca Thiessen. And this is just such a sweet little book. It's a great bedtime book. I'll show you some of the pages. It's about going out in a little boat, looking at the nature and the animals. Look, she did these moths with transparent wings. And so she wrote and illustrated this book. And I love her illustrations. They're so funny. Look at this. This is Grady's favorite page. I read this to him a lot before he goes to bed. And he loves the alligator. He always wants to go back and look at the alligator, see his teeth. And so I I am wanting to dye some yarn inspired by one of the illustrations in this book. Now, I have 3 contenders that I really like. I have the alligator page, which would be blue and green with a little pink and yellow. These would be very variegated colors. I love this page with the orange butterflies with their black and white accents, and the background tealy green is beautiful. And oh, she has so many good ones. This one is beautiful. Look at the otter, the bubbles in the water. And but my other favorite is this one. The sun is beginning to set. It's time to go home. And there's that crane there. I just love the silhouette and the bright pink and blue with the black. So this book is available on Amazon. I will put the link below in my description box. And I would love for you to get a copy to read to your kids or your grandkids. It's just a very sweet and calm book, perfect for bedtime. Like I said, I read it a lot to Grady, and he really likes it. He really enjoys it. He likes to look at the animals. There's raccoons and turtles, otters. The otters are really cute. There's fish. Grady really likes the fish. And this is so funny. These ducks diving for food. So I hope that you will check this out on Amazon, and I want you to vote on which illustration you like the best for yarn color: alligator, butterfly, or crane. And just let me know which one you like the best, and that will end up being a yarn probably on my next update. Okay, so for any life updates, I think the only big thing is my boys went to camp, and while they were at camp, I cleaned out my craft room so that Teddy could move in down there. He has been wanting to do that forever. He's 15 and he wanted his own room. And that's the only room left in our house. And my craft room, while I love it, and it had all my stuff in there, it had really become a dumping ground. You know how there's always a room in your house? Well, at least there's always a room in my house where it's like, I don't know where to put this. Okay, we'll put it there. That was what this room had become. And so I wasn't really using it. So I cleaned it out, which felt really good, but it just made a disaster out of the rest of the house because all that stuff came out, and then I had to start going through it. I threw a lot of stuff away. I gave some stuff to the thrift store, but to be honest, I am still recovering, both energy-wise and cleaning-wise in my house, from doing that, because there was a lot of stuff in there. And so I moved a big storage unit up into my room, and I have my shop stock in there, and also my undyed yarn, all my knitting books, and all of my stash pretty much is upstairs, my yarn stash, and most of my fabric stash. I've got tubs of fabric leftovers that are in the garage now, and it's just like the random stuff now. It's like the stuff that I don't know what to do with, but I can't really part with, and I've got to figure that out. So just pray for me, because it's a lot of work, and I don't like cleaning. I am not good at it. I'm not really even good at organizing. When I clean a room, David's noticed this, I clean by decorating. So because that's my only motivation, is that it looks nice. And so that's really going really slow. So, and I've got to figure out like where I'm going to put my sewing machine, and just all the stuff that's not going to fit in my room, because I can't fit the entire contents of one room into my room, which, to be honest, did not have a lot of room in it in the first place. But Grady did move out of my room into the girls' room. So that's how I was able to put that stuff up there. So, and that's going really well. He's sleeping in his playpen in the girls' room. The only thing is he gets up early in the morning and comes downstairs and wakes up Watson in his crate, and then Watson is, you know, wanting to get out instead of sleeping till a decent hour. So I think we're going to have to put a baby gate up on the stairs or something so he can't come downstairs by himself, which he shouldn't be doing anyway. So that's the biggest thing that's been going on in my life. I have got a lot of work to do for my advent calendar. I need to get really going on that. My advent calendar is all sold out now, so I am really excited for those of you who ordered it. I hope you love it. I have lots of classic book yarn in my shop right now. I've got strawberry shortcake yarn in my shop. I've got brown bear mini skein sets if you liked that crochet project. And those brown bear yarns would look beautiful if they were also paired with like a full skein of something that was not, you know, a color that was not in there. I think they would look really pretty like that too. Once you start doing granny squares, it's hard to stop because there are so many variations you can do. You can do so many, like you could start with a light color and go dark, or start with a dark color and go light and make a real, like a really nice fade. You can do giant granny squares. You can do teeny tiny ones. Anyway, they're just fun. I'm in that mood now where it's like I should be knitting all these sweaters I need to finish, and all I want to do is stuff that has no deadline. I think that's all I have for you today, and I hope to see you again in a couple weeks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm Mystery Mouse Yarn on Instagram. And don't forget to comment which illustration you vote for: alligator, butterfly, or crane. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.